Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make zucchini pickles. Zucchini, not cucumber pickles. Zucchinis are absolutely an underrated vegetable to use for pickling. They're really similar to a cucumber pickle in the traditional pickle sense, but they have a lower water content, so they come out a lot crunchier, and it's so delicious. They take on flavors really well, and they're really fun to play around with, and they're very forgiving. It's just a 24-hour brining process, so they'll be ready to eat the next day, and you can enjoy them with so many different parts of your day as snacks, with sandwiches, whatever you like. I really love this recipe, and I hope that you get a chance to try it out and let me know how it goes. All right, let's get started. For this recipe, you will need 4 medium-sized zucchini, fresh dill, 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, mustard seeds, dill seeds, black peppercorns or ground pepper, since that's all I had on hand, 2 cups of water, non-iodized salt, some sugar, distilled white vinegar, and 2 mason jars with some good sealing lids. So make sure that you wash your zucchini, and then we're going to just simply trim off the ends. That'll make really good compost material if you have chickens. Chickens love that. What I like to do is take the jar that I'm going to be putting them in later and kind of measure up to see how big I would like to have my slices be, so that it can fit right about in. So zucchini contains less water than cucumbers, so less water is pulled from the zucchini during the brining process, which results in less dilution of the brine. For this reason, I'm using a higher water to vinegar ratio than a regular pickle brine. This also means that the zucchini won't shrink and settle as much, so don't feel the need to pack the jars too tightly. Fill them up close to the top, leaving about ½ an inch of headspace. So that helps you think about where exactly you want your zucchini tops to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut off a little bit of my zucchini. And this is the size I'm going to stick to. I like to cut mine into slices, but you can feel free to, take them and make some rounds with them. If you have a wavy knife, you can make wavy pickles. Those are great on sandwiches, anything like that. But, I'm originally from New York, so I'm going to stick with the classic spears. Here we go. So we're going to take our jar and we go ahead and fit these right on in. You can see there's tons of space in there, so I think we can fit another zucchini in there. Just make sure that all of your zucchini are nice and out of the way that are already in there. And then you can just put yours right on in. I like to arrange mine, make sure that there's plenty of room going through here. And you got a nice little lip going on. And there you have it. You got some pickles in the jar. So for the brine, we will be adding 2½ cups of water. 1 cup of distilled white vinegar. 1/4 cup of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of coarse sea salt or kosher salt, again, not iodized. We're going to put the heat up to a medium-high in order to bring that to a boil. And what you'll want to do is make sure that you stir the mixture every once in a while as it's coming up to a boil, so that all of those little crystals in there get dissolved. And becomes a really good brining mixture. All pickles start with a seasoned brine of some sort. In this recipe, I decided to make my liquid brine separate and put my seasonings directly into the jar. Now these seasonings are things that you can find in your regular seasoning aisle at the grocery store. So it's really straightforward. I don't have any whole peppercorns at the moment, so I'm just going to use black pepper, and we will explain the sizings for that in that change later on. But I'm going to go ahead and start adding some things in. So let's get started with the mustard seeds. So mustard seeds have that really nice tangy sort of flavor to it. I think that's kind of like the classic background note of any pickle. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a ½ teaspoon of mustard seeds per jar. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a 1/4 teaspoon of dill seeds into each of the jars. You know, it's funny because I never really used dill seeds all that much in the past, but there's really interesting flavor that's quite different from fresh dill. So I highly recommend that you do use whole dill seeds as well as fresh dill in this recipe. Normally, if you have black peppercorns, I would recommend doing maybe a ½ teaspoon per jar. But because this is ground, it's going to be more potent. So I'd recommend only a 1/4 teaspoon if you're doing that. You can add anywhere from 1 clove a jar to 3 cloves a jar. I think it's the right balance, doing it right with 2, and I love a good garlicky flavor, so I think that is perfect. Throw that right on into the jar. It's okay if things don't move down right away. We will be pouring the brine on top of it in a little bit, so don't worry too much about that. Fantastic, the seasonings there are done. So now what you're going to want to do is maybe grab a funnel, or if you have it, I happen to have one on hand, and be ready to make space in your jar for that funnel to fit in so that we can pour the brine right on in. So I've let my brine sit off of heat for about 20 minutes now so that it's cooled down enough that I'm able to handle it appropriately. And I'm just going to pour about half of this. You can measure it out. I just eyeball it. So now my jars have the brine in them, they have their seasoning in them, and we just need to add the dill. Some people add the fresh dill when you put in all of the other seasonings, and to me that's totally fine. I like to add my dill at the end just because I think it doesn't wilt as quickly. Since you are putting in a hot material, I think it's just nicer for the process and maintains that fresher dill taste to it if the solution is a little bit cooled down. I love a good dill flavor. I grew up in New York in a Jewish family, and my pickles were very much a good sour dill pickle. It's the epitome of a good pickle to me, so I added a good amount of dill, and I think that's delicious. But you know, maybe there aren't too many dill fans out there, and you can add less. And then you can put the lids on. Make sure that you have a canning lid, an airtight lid, just so that, one, your shaking process is all right, but also so that it stores and is able to properly pickle the zucchinis. So I shake it up to make sure the flavors are getting all over the place. That's both my jars here. Oh, it smells so good already. I'm just loving all of these fresh things. Oh, it smells like childhood. So here we have it. That's it for the zucchini pickling. It will be ready in about 24 hours. Yeah, it's that quick. So just keep it in your refrigerator. I like to, in those 24 hours, make sure to mix it up every time that you open up the fridge, just whenever you remember to do it. They'll stay well in the fridge for about 2 weeks. And after that, you have to be real careful, making sure that there's no bacteria building up inside of your jars. And that's it. I hope you enjoy. Let me know if you try the recipe. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, any alterations that you did to it. Happy to hear all of that. Happy to share. Take care. Bye-bye.